Good afternoon, a very warm welcome to Heathrow's Terminal 3. Guys, behind me is the home of Virgin Atlantic, and tonight we're going to be flying with them across to New York. We're going to be doing it in their latest premium economy aboard the Airbus A350, so let's get checked in and on our way to the Big Apple. Arriving into T3, I was pleased to report that they had a dedicated check-in area for premium economy. It was nice and quiet and it worked really well indeed. So that's the check-in done, really nice and seamless on this particular afternoon. It's lovely and quiet here, I hope it's the same through into the terminal, so let's get through and find out. There's been an awful lot of enhancements to Terminal 3 over the years. On the dining front, you're well looked after, lots of different options to suit a variety of different budgets. Sadly, no lounge access included as part of a premium economy ticket, but if you do fancy somewhere a little bit quieter to sit, I would recommend heading down towards Gate 5, where it is, in my recent experience, an awful lot quieter. In no time at all, it was time to head down to the boarding gate. It was going to be Ruby Slipper on that day. She's been in service since the back end of 2020, so a nice new aircraft to be getting onto. I've just got to the gate about an hour before departure and they've already started boarding. I've never quite seen anything like it, but it's wonderful not to have to wait with a ton of people and then the usual scrum to get on, so hopefully we'll get a nice quiet cabin for giving you a really good look around. So let's jump on board and see what premium economy is like with Virgin. Let's kick things off with a quick look at the seat map. There's a couple of different configurations aboard the A350. It was one on the left-hand side on that particular day. I had seat 24K and it worked really well indeed. Whether you're traveling solo or perhaps as a couple, I would definitely recommend those twin seats next to the window. They really are fantastic. Onboard and onto the aircraft, everything looked super smart. As you'd have seen from the seat map, seats laid out in a 2-4-2 configuration. Those bulkhead seats also having a little bit more legroom, so it could be ones to consider as well. It was nice to see Virgin sticking with the purple leather design. It looked great on the 747s when I used to fly it years ago, and it was nice seeing them taking that tradition forward. When you're into the seat itself, nice and comfortable, lots of adjustment. There's also then individual reading lights and individual air vents. Despite time of departure still being an hour or so away, drinks were already coming round. I had a glass of the bubbles, it tasted very good indeed, and that gave me a chance to sit back, relax, take a few sips and check out the rest of the seat. We'll cover off that big entertainment screen as part of the later entertainment review. Just some of the other bits for now. There was a footrest, was a little bit plasticky, felt ever so slightly tacky. Charging options, however, really well looked after just here. Some international plug adapters, USB on the back of the seat in front, and then some additional storage just down to your side, and also another USB charging option. I thought this was really smart. Sadly, although the seat reclined a good long way, there was no footrest that came up from the base of the seat, as you so often now see in premium economy. So this was a slight downside, but overall cabin look and feel pretty good on this particular front. And just before pushback, a quick look at the tray table. This came up from the other armrest. Really smart design just here. I thought this worked wonderfully well, and you'll see that fully extended as we get into the food shortly after departure. For now, let's push back. Those of you yet to subscribe, hit that button. It would be great to have you aboard the channel. I'm going to turn the music very slightly down so you can enjoy this wonderful takeoff to New York. Well, it was a bit of a wet departure out of Heathrow, but once we got airborne, some beautiful views back over the city of London with the moon shining down onto it. With us now being up in the skies, it was a good time for me to start checking out the cabin as well. We'll kick off a bit of a tour with a look at the bathroom first off. Nothing particularly special here. I've long been a fan, however, of Virgin Premium Economy having separate dedicated bathrooms for Premium Economy. I think this is a nice touch and worked particularly well on this aircraft. On the entertainment front, a bit of a poor start. Unfortunately, the headset was very economy-esque. Most airlines do something an awful lot better just here, so that would be a point of improvement for them. Otherwise, it was pretty decent. Entertainment screen, really nice and big, lovely and responsive, and a good amount of content as you'd expect in this day and age. Being a new aircraft, you'd also expect a pretty good Wi-Fi service, and Virgin delivered nicely on this particular front. Only point of improvement that I'd probably mention here is actually just the pricing of it. Airlines are becoming more and more generous with in-flight Wi-Fi packages. This, at £24 for a 7 or 8 or so hour flight, was really quite expensive. It'd be nice to see this 10 or so pounds cheaper. Alrighty, let's take some time to unpack the all-important look at the food. Despite the length of flight being around 7 or 8 hours, there was 2 really decent services on that particular flight. It was to be a dinner service shortly after takeoff, and then an afternoon tea before arriving into New York. On the afternoon tea front, I will go for both options so you can see how both of those play. Good selection of drinks, and the crew were incredibly prompt and very generous, might I say, with the drink servings throughout the flight. There's that tray table in operation. It was nice and sturdy, and the marble-esque type design I think looked really good. Just before the main meals were brought around the cabin, there was a drink service that came on through. I opted for a gin and tonic, and it was great to see Fever Tree being the tonic of choice for Virgin. On that evening, I opted for the chicken lasagna. It did taste really very good. Overall, top marks to Virgin on the presentation front. It was nice to see everything so well organised onto real china, metal cutlery and glassware. Top marks on this particular front. The only thing that was perhaps a little bit odd was wine by the can. The serving was pretty decent, but let's see how it goes from a taste perspective. On reflection, really not bad at all. On the dessert front, a couple of different bits. Just here, there was a main dessert and then also a little cheese selection. Overall, a really decent main meal service. It's the little things that often make the biggest difference. Virgin are quite famous for these small salt and pepper shakers. I love the fact that on the bottom it says pinched from Virgin Atlantic, even down to things like the mug, some really nice touches. 90 minutes or so before landing, it was then time for the afternoon tea. As mentioned previously, I went for both selections so we could check them both out for filming purposes. Of course, the sandwiches tasted great, the scones were wonderful, as were the cakes. There was lots of top-ups also of the tea. The crew, might I say, did an absolutely phenomenal job throughout this flight. They were so attentive, so full of character. They really were an absolute credit to Virgin Atlantic. And with us now starting our descent into New York's JF Kennedy International Airport, it's a good opportunity for me to reflect back on what's been a really interesting experience with Virgin. Overall, a pretty decent experience. Better than British Airways? Well, I'm not so sure. There were pros and cons. It'd be lovely to hear your thoughts down in the comments below, and maybe, if you'd like, I'll even do a comparison video on my many recent experiences with both airlines. On the food and beverage front and also service fronts, Virgin score very well indeed. It'd be nice to see them up the quality of those headsets on the entertainment front, and I think the seats could do with a slight redesign to have the base come up so they form a bit of a Z bed. It works ever so well with so many other premium economy providers, so that would be a good thing, I think, for them to look at. If you're considering booking premium economy, I would recommend checking out my recent review of British Airways in the bottom left-hand side just now. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for struggling through with my particularly croaky voice at the moment, and looking forward so much to welcome you to another video real soon.